Hello, parser people. Happy
What's up, Parser
Tuesday.
people?
How are y'all this fine, fine day? It is Tuesday. What did we do last week, JRam? We finished this, didn't we?
We found an ending. I believe we ended up yelling at the sky like a crazy person and maybe seeing God.
Yeah, I think we won, right?
Define win.
I mean, as much as one can win.
We saved the kingdom, more or less.
Yeah. I mean, everybody died, but that's fine. No, everybody didn't die. We just died.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I know you have been doing a lot of poking around in this game.
Have.
So, here's how it ends. Our divination ends. Yes, you'll probably decide not to do that. So, we can just go back to the beginning of the climax, whatever that is. We can go back to the beginning of the climax and cheat. Or we can accept our fate and die exactly as I have foreseen, which is my choice. But I have a feeling that that's not going to give us what we want to be.
I mean, we've got the cheat option right there in front of us. Like, come on.
Yeah, a cheat option. Why not? Why not cheat?
Why? Why not?
So, yeah. Why don't we cheat?
Yeah.
So we're turning to the beginning of the glamour climax. So that's what we ended up with, even though our stats were such that glamour was our third lowest score.
Yeah. Really sure how we end up there. There's some complicated stat juggling going on in the back end that puts you on the route that you eventually end up, but I'm not sure how we ended up there because we have so many more higher stats.
Yeah. Just as a reminder, we are now Royal Diviner Quux. We're a bookish, spectacled woman with brightly colored feathers in her hair, wearing a shimmering cloak and some sparkly garb picked up in an ancient academy. We are fantastic at ancient history, which actually did not give us plus 10 to anything. Interesting. And we now are amazing at everything else. We have 12 to our fighting, 14 to our subtlety, 17 to our charisma. Our personality is dead middle. And we've talked about that a lot. Do you find that? So I've complained is a little strong, but like I've found that in general, like, is that how you end up with these games, or is it more, do you like min-max or something like that to get the right quote-unquote answer?
The thing about these games is they usually have pretty clear expectations. After you go through the first chapter or two where you define your character and are allowed to sort of collect stat points and strengths, the game will punish you for playing out of character, right? It expects you to make choices consistent with the ones that you've made before. I think this game is really unusual in that it does not do that. I think all of the choices presented to us have been kind of narratively interesting, right? And perhaps you could have been a little more focused, trying to define Quux and trying to define a personality for her. But also, if we ended up just rolling with it, we ended up somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime, I think about like, have you played Fable?
No, I am not.
Oh, play Fable. I'm gonna rip on it right now, but like, it's a very good action RPG.
Not
But
my
like,
favorite genre, but go on.
What it was sold on was that it had this really intense, like, really intense like relationship tracking, and so like things that you did and people would react to what you did, which like it was harkening back to like older RPGs, like non-action RPGs, because like at the time, if you think about like Diablo, like there's only one thing to do in Diablo, which is like fine, I guess.
Goes on, baby.
Okay, wrong but fair. But like with action RPGs, for it to like kick back and talk about like, oh well, what you do matters, and like if you kill all the sheep, that's going to rain badly on you. But it has this same kind of like binary system, and like I've found this in the choice of games where they have multiple binary systems, but it's still very binary. Like, I mean, how do you figure like empathy and calculation? And I feel like a lot of times you're surprised when the stats pop up. I don't know. That's just me.
Well, I think it's a how do you say? It's a game design convenience, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you make empathy and calculation parallel stats instead of opposing ones, your player can find themselves in a place where they might have an adequate score to, I don't know, achieve both states. Spitballing here, you have like a high empathy and a high calculation check maybe toward the end of the game. If your player has both of them, then I don't know, what do you do? What do you route them to? How do you how do you set priorities? Setting opposing stats, it solves that problem really neatly, and you can do some fun narrative stuff with it, because empathy and calculation. You can make an argument that those two traits are oppositional in a personality. Quux is a woman of many contrasts. In conclusion, Quux is a land of many contrasts.
No, I keep coming back to that because I think it's one of the defining, at least for me who has not played very many of these, like one of the defining things of choice of games that I find super, super interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did that. Okay. So all of our relationships. Who is Sam? Oh, the
church guard.
Yeah, the church guard. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you mostly only interact with him if you follow the church route, which we ignored entirely.
We were rather adored. Our kingdom power, not great. We had a bunch of gold. We had too much. And we lost one of our students in the meantime. And I'm still mad about the dragon thing.
I'm still kind of mad about the dragon thing. Like, I know this game has been out for several years, but like, come on, Kevin Gold. Like, you plan to push an update anytime soon? I want a double dragon.
So that's where we were. Please watch the other VODs if you really want to know the story of Quux. But
the part
we we are going to return to the beginning of the last chapter, where everybody is shouting, "Make way! Make way!" You're in the cathedral, being carried up on a stretcher. You have blearily woken up, but everything seems dreamlike. Clerics of the House of the Sun hurry out of the way. Their concern for you seems genuine. You try to sit up a little, but pain shoots through your whole body. You mean to scream, but it comes out as a little grunt. "She's awake," someone says distantly. "Shh. Just rest. We'll take care of you. You're an honorary saint today." "Make way! Make way!" Okay. We wake up on a soft bed in a small room lit by candlelight. A small vase of yellow, thorny flowers, gorse perhaps, livens up your bedstand. Next to the vase is a well-worn book of Abraxas. A painting of a green field on a summer day decorates the wall across from you. The window to your left reveals it is night. The room has no door, just hinges where the door used to be. You wonder whether the door-eating spell you used in the cathedral dungeon managed to spread all the way up here. Wherever here is. The pain has subsided to a low thrum, but unlike your previous attacks of rot, it is not going away. Sam is seated at your bedside, wearing a white robe with large golden sun embroidered on the front. "Welcome back," Sam says. "We thought we lost you there for a little while." So we have 4 choices. We have, is the war still going on? If I'm going to die, I'd prefer to do it in Acraton, which I think we can't do. Why did the church save me? And let me go. If anyone can develop a cure for this, it's me. So I'm going to let you drive, JRAM, since you know what's going on under the hood.
Oh boy. The thing is, I'm pretty sure we have locked ourselves into an ending here that we don't have a ton of flexibility on. Our glamour just isn't high enough. Although, shit, I mean, maybe it's high enough now.
Yeah, we just added 10 to everything.
Okay, let's try Acraton. Maybe he'll let us go this time.
All right. Sam shakes his head. "That's not possible, I'm afraid. If we move you, you'll likely end up dead." He gives a forced smile. "But we'll take care of you well here. You might not believe it, but we have great sympathy for anyone afflicted with rot."
Oh boy.
You make the mistake of trying to sit up, and your belly objects with a sharp stab of pain. Your vision starts to go, and you begin to black out. You fall back onto the bed and wait for the roaring in your ears to subside. "Listen," Sam says, his voice distant. "I can bring people here if you want to say hello. But if you have no desire to talk to someone, we can keep them out. Just let me know." Sam purses his lips as if uncertain whether to say more. "Just don't push yourself, all right? Don't feel like you have to meet with everybody, especially if it's going to be stressful."
Who did we not talk to last time? We saw Tal for sure. We saw Thekla, I believe.
We saw Tal, we saw Thekla. We did not make sure Blessed Jacob didn't come.
I mean, fuck that guy. I don't think there's anything in there that's going to help us out in this situation.
Right. So let's ask for that. "That's understandable," Sam says. "I'll have a word with him. He mostly does as he pleases, but I think he listens to me more than most, even if you wouldn't think it from what you saw of us."
Let's do who did we not see? Who we said we not saw? Our parents and Koss, right? So let's ask for them.
All right.
And
Sam nods when you ask for the parents. "Of course. I could see how close you were to them when I visited Acraton." And then Koss. "Naturally," Sam says. "You two have been through a lot together."
Still feel kind of bad about that. Did we see Vance last time?
I don't think we did.
Okay.
So we got Vance.
Yeah.
And I think we didn't ask the Hierophant not to come, so let's do that.
Yeah, again, fuck her.
Vance, Sam sighs. "I wouldn't blame him if he didn't want to set foot in this place again. But I'll ask." Asking for the Hierophant not to come, that's probably for the best. She did say she was interested to see you, but I'll suggest it would be a bad idea, all things considered. I think she might listen to me. I have no more requests.
Yeah,
all right.
That's it.
Sam says. He squeezes your hand. "Now, get some rest, would you? I'll be in now and again to check in on you." Sam begins to leave and then stops himself. "Oh, and at this stage of rot, you may begin to have hallucinations. Get a second opinion before you do anything rash, all right?"
Purple caterpillar.
Purple caterpillar.
I think it boosts our humor.
Sam rolls his eyes at you. Not funny. Sam leaves and you close your eyes and rest. Your first visitor, oddly enough, is St. Twimsby, dressed in his usual white saint's robe. The portly, jovial man is carrying a cage containing your pet dragon, Mad Mom. Look who's come to visit! St. Twimsby sets the cage down and opens the door for your pet. Mad Mom hops over to you and nuzzles your cheek. Her squawk sounds disconsolate. Can't have a pet without its master now, can you? St. Twimsby says. I found her in your room. Hope you don't mind. So I think we asked him about pets last time.
Yeah, we got everything that we could have out of Twinsby last time. Let's just tell him to get lost.
All right. Thanks. I have zero curiosity about this man. You're welcome, St. Twinsby says cordially. Having done what he came to do, the saint wishes you farewell. You pet Mad Mom. You're glad to have your little friend around. St. Twinsby might be on to something. After that, you're left alone for a little bit. You search your bedroom and find that someone has stowed your things in a trunk under the bed. You decide to experiment with ways to avoid your fate. Though you don't feel very good, you may as well try now. You'll only be weaker later. So, we have negation magic. We have Great Beast.
I think we said Great Beast last time, but we didn't make the check. Let's see if we do now.
No, we don't.
Motherfucker! Alright, let's try the negation magic.
Nope, same thing. Dark Sun
Fuck
would need to be
me.
far more agitated.
Okay. Welp.
Yeah, so skipping ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
When Vance comes to visit you, he practically collapses on top of you, sobbing. Quux! Oh, Quux, what will I do without you? Way to make it about yourself, you think ruefully, but you pat him on the back. It's okay. Just, I don't know what I'm going to do if you're gone, Vance says, but whatever you ask of me, I'll do it. So we have two choices that are both interesting. Just teach the next generation well, or take a lesson from me. You must give up magic and find a new path. I know we're looking for endings, but that second one is not Party Wizard.
Yeah.
All
Teach
right.
the children well. Yeah.
That's a boring answer, but... Of course, Vance says. I'll teach them better than they've ever been taught before. I'll make sure you would be proud. I'll even name the academy after you. Quux Academy. That sounds nice, right? You assure him it does sound nice. You begin to feel a splitting pain in your side, and Vance vows to find a cleric. When the cleric comes, Vance is not with her. You suppose he finds it awkward to be around you while you're in pain, and you can't really blame him. For the rest of that first night, you receive no other visitors. A gnawing sensation seems to eat away at your belly. You take a look around your room and find that your things, including your alchemy set, are stashed within the drawers. See...
Motherfucker.
Yeah, it says you don't have the alchemy set. Or
I wonder... Oh, after you.
Oh, no, go for it.
I think that's probably... I would guess that's probably just a bug. Maybe there's something that you can do previously to have the alchemy set physically on you. But I'm going to go as that's probably a bug. But, like, there are enough moving parts in the back end here that it's still it's still a minor miracle that it's as smooth as it is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not... I said this last week that, like, I felt narratively satisfied with the ending. You know, I didn't, and I still don't like that, like, you have all these false choices, but I think it actually does a good job of feeling like you're grasping at straws. I found this, I played, Event Zero last night, and it had some of the similar things where, like, there were false endings, or like it did a really good job of like giving you a wild goose chase. And I feel like that was furthering the plot more than if it said, oh, well, it's here and figure out the puzzles.
Mm. I don't know. I find it still... It feels smooth. We're giving this a very, very close rating here because we're dorks playing this on a podcast and talk about the art of the game itself. But, like, if we were playing this just as, like, a lazy Tuesday night, I don't think that we would have any quibbles with it unless we thought about it very hard.
Yeah. And I mean, I find that with choice of games and Twine games in particular, like, you're there for the narrative. It is more of like a choose your own adventure, even the crunchier ones, as opposed to parser games where, well, you're parsing.
To your point, though, those two choices about turning yourself into a great beast and turning yourself into an immortal specter, those are actually not false choices. The branching on this particular chapter is absolutely wild, completely ludicrous, and there's an entire wing that we completely missed. And if we had chosen some different things with Thekla a chapter or two ago, and had the requisite stats, we most likely would have been able to pursue those to escape the rot. I believe that you end up getting the Spectre choice for also during the negation ending, as well as maybe for the Vivimancy one, question mark. My point is, though, that, as I said before, each branch of magic has its own ending/climax, and you can get more than one. We are getting this one right now because we overused our glamour and kind of rotted our insides out. But there are things that we could have done to either avoid this or to actually get out of it with either of those two options. It wasn't a full choice. That was a long-winded way of saying that less of a grasping at straws than it appears.
Nice,
I want to read up
nice.
about what Braxis says about rot.
Yeah. Let's do that. We read all this before. Oh, yeah, it was this answer. You flip to a section that you think might contain clues about healing rot. To you who are afflicted by rot, I say, did not the first rot come from your soul, the moment you sought to impose your will on others? For goodness is a light that needs no magic to make itself felt. But if you should be on death's door wishing for another chance of life, I say, so long as you are not dead, you can do good, and that will make you more alive than you have ever been. Many do not ever truly live, but if you heed my words, you have time. You frown, not helpful, Abraxas. You quickly grow tired of the lofty language of the Book of Abraxas. Luckily, Sam saves you by returning with your alchemical ingredients. You brew the necessary potion, and it quiets your stomach and dulls your senses enough to put you in a contented state. You move the book aside, collapse on the bed, and quickly fall asleep. Some days pass in which you wait for your visitors from the Acraton refugee camp to arrive. Sam often keeps you company, bringing you porridge from the cathedral's kitchens. You appreciate his company, though whenever he leaves, a feeling of gloom settles upon you.
Motherfucker. All right, so this path again.
Okay, requires calculation.
Sure, why not?
That's what we're good at.
Probably not enough to make a check, but let's see. And if we die, well, we'll probably get kicked back to the cheat ending screen.
Maybe we can add another 10 to everything.
Oh my god, immortal god lizard quacks.
You've never been one to believe in mysterious beings from beyond, and you aren't about to start now. Go away, you say aloud. It's far more likely that you're a hallucination than anything else, and I have no desire to make a fool of myself. The voice is silent in response. Eventually, it is clear that it will never speak again. As you drift back to sleep, a smaller voice in your head wonders, but what if? You forcibly silence it. Alone again in your bed, you ponder your experience with the voice. I feel angry. There is a higher power, and it decided to taunt me with this. I feel bereft. When the voice spoke, I felt meaning and purpose. I feel foolish. I was warned about hallucinations. Why didn't I listen? None of this matters. I'm going to die. I banish my doubt. Somehow that voice was real. I would say either bereft or foolish.
I was going to say none of this matters.
All right, I'll do that.
Yeah, give it a shot.
I mean, we can always get back here.
What's the worst that could happen? Oh, God.
What did it matter, you wonder bitterly. Perhaps you should have obeyed the voice. At least then you wouldn't be stuck in this bed. You cough painfully. Nihilism comes more naturally when you're dying. Somehow we're increasing stats. Increased caution.
Oh, okay.
When your parents visit, you can tell that they're somewhat shaken. You're not certain how much the clerics have told them. They have worn their church best for their visit to the cathedral. After greeting you, they look at each other, unsure who should start. Your father does. Quux, we just wanted to say, even though it looks like you've made some mistakes, everybody does. That's just life. Your mother just nods and wipes a tear from each eye. We're proud of you no matter what, is all we wanted to say, your father says.
Oh.
Your mother nods emphatically. Anyway, I have a funny anecdote for you. Do you mean anecdote? Your mother suddenly yells. Antidote is what we wish we had. There's an uncomfortable silence for a moment.
Let's be nice to our parents.
I'm glad you came. Your mother looks touched. She cradles your head in her arms. Oh, my baby, she says. My baby, my baby. Oh, dear, you hear Koss say. Oh, dear, dear, dear. You open your eyes. Koss is leaning over you, wearing a somber black tunic instead of his usual orange vest. Here, drink this, he says, handing you a cup of tea. Good for an upset stomach and fever. I don't know why they're not giving it to you. It should help. The tea is hot and minty, and it does soothe your troubled stomach. I'm surprised you came back here, you said, to the cathedral where they imprisoned you. Casa exhales sharply. Yeah, well, it wasn't easy, let me tell you, but how could I stay away, honestly? They didn't try to do it again? They have their own rules for patient visitation. Criminals, heretics, shapeshifters, any lowlife can come in if it's to visit someone like you. He smiles ruefully. You tell Koss about your experience with the voice. He nods. That might be a psychotic break. They're actually more common than one might think. Anyone can have one, and not just when they're suffering from rot. So it really didn't mean anything, you say. I didn't say that, Koss says, placing a hand on your arm. It meant something to you. It still means something to you. You just have to decide what that is. Your rot-induced illness takes a turn for the worse. It becomes painful to breathe, and when you cough, you see flecks of blood in your hand. Everyone is invited to be with you, has gathered in your room. Koss, Vance, your parents, and of course Sam is still here. They stand around your bedside, each afraid to say out loud what is obvious to all. The end is near. Drink this. It'll make you feel better, Koss says, offering you a cup. It doesn't, but you thank him all the same. You can't die, Vance wails. Be strong, Quux, your mother says, gripping your father's hand. Your father says nothing, but he wipes his eyes. You can feel your grip on life loosening. You'll find peace soon, Sam assures you. You think he was trying to comfort you. If so, he failed. Thank you all for coming, you croak. You have cast one final glamour, a weak one, just so your guests don't notice how badly you've deteriorated. You think your next words might be your last. Well, this figures, or, well, if you could do one last thing for me.
You know, I've always thought that the best last words would be like, hey, come over here. I gotta tell you something.
Done. Having said your last words, you die.
Well, fuck. All right, no, we're doing this again. Come on, like.
Go back to the beginning of the climax and continue to cheat.
Yep.
All right, we've made way.
All right,
Let me go. If anyone can develop a cure for this, it's me.
Yep.
You insist that you should be allowed to leave. I can fix this. I know it. You say, I've succeeded so far. Why not now? Increased optimism. Sam regards you with pity. That may be true, he said softly. Who knows? Maybe you can succeed where we have always failed. But I'm telling you, you will probably not make it out that door if you try to get up. You make the mistake of trying to sit up, and your belly objects with a sharp stab of pain. Your vision starts to go, and you begin to black out. You fall back onto the bed and wait for the roaring in your ears to subside. Listen, his voice distant. I can bring people here if you want to say hello, but if you have no desire to talk to someone, we can keep them out. Just let me know. Sam purses his lips as if uncertain whether to say more. Just don't push yourself, all right? Don't feel like you have to meet with everybody, especially if it's going to be stressful. Let's just block everybody. Fuck it, die alone.
Yeah.
Nope. Nope. And I don't want to see anybody.
Yep.
I don't think we picked this one.
Yeah, let's try it.
So does that mean Saint's visions are sometimes just hallucinations? Sam frowns. Sadly, we don't really pay much attention to Saints once they've reached your stage. We just try to ensure they're comfortable.
Jesus.
Sam leaves and you close your eyes and rest. St. Twimsby, go away. Okay. Show my stats. Vivamancy is almost off the screen.
We don't have the requisite program from Thekla, though. We can give it a shot, but...
Right.
Well, shit. And then, bet you anything. Yep, nope.
Yeah.
Welp.
Oh, we're definitely...
Okay, so we're gonna get locked into the voice ending. Let's do the practice end times.
Oh, well, wait. We didn't do this. This is Abraxas's talking about magic. You flip through the book until you find a passage about magic. You know 5 schools of magic, Abraxas said to them. But I say to you that there are more powerful magics than any of these. Love, faith, geniality. These magics can change the world more thoroughly than any device or glamour or magical beast. The time of mages must come to an end. The old magics must be eradicated so love can take their place. You briefly wonder, is it possible that love and so forth can really be magics? But it sounds ridiculous when you put it like that. Certainly all the miracles you know about can be explained by the other 5 schools. You quickly grow tired of the lofty language of the Book of Abraxas. Blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Okay, so I guess we're gonna have to go with the Saint route, huh? We've locked ourselves in too far.
Yeah. Doing fine today. I can't just...
I bring you.
I mean, we could do a different ending with this. Turn the power of the...
Yeah, well, let's try the Power of the Tempest one. At least that at least gives us something new.
You raise both hands into the air, and your racing mind intuits the words you need for what could be your final spell. Aeonia Catagita Nihilo Revelabit Kylie. Lightning strikes your left hand, jolts through your body, and courses out the other hand, back to the sky. You begin to channel negative energy from the dark sun as well, mixing it with the electrical arcs so that it spirals around the bolt traveling to the sky. The smell of something burning, perhaps yourself, fills the air, and you can feel all of your hairs stand on end, even as it's singed off. Pain racks your body. The power is consuming you from the inside and out. But you can see the sky above you begin to part, revealing stars. Quux, what are you doing? Sam shouts. Don't! Absolute faith. See my promise in the stars above. Yeah, with
Still
absolute...
don't believe this. All right.
Still don't believe it?
There's something hinky here, man. Like...
All right.
But, all right, sure.
Yeah, with absolute faith. I mean, this'll test that. With absolute faith, I'll clear the sky once and for all. I won't risk death. I continue the spell, but I wouldn't say I have absolute faith. Or listen to Sam and end the spell. No, clear the sky.
All right, fine. Let's do it.
There's no sense in wavering now. You will do what you were destined to do. In a final push, you channel all the negation energy you possibly can into your arc to the heavens. You feel it wash over you and consume you, even as you can feel all the tiny arcs of negative energy and electricity course from one horizon to the other. And you can see the thunderheads above disintegrate even as you do. Well done, the voice says. Now rest.
Hey.
The night you sacrifice yourself, nobody in the capital sleeps. The stars, now visible in the night sky, look like a kind of promise from beyond, a wordless message to accompany your paean to love before you left. The stars have not been seen in the kingdom for 2,000 years. Now that they've returned, they seem to herald a new covenant with the powers that be. Humanity has suffered enough, they seem to say. There is a new order of things, and that order is love. It is said that though Sam doubted your divine inspiration when he saw you, he wept when you sacrificed yourself, and thereafter said he was wrong to have ever doubted you. When he gives a sermon to the Pack Cathedral about the night he tried to stop you, he concludes, I thought I understood faith. I thought I understood love. I did understand these, a little. But that night, I realized that I was only a child playing on the shores of limitless faith and limitless love. And however precious it is to see the night sky that the ancients knew, it is still more precious to know that we are loved. The universe loves us. That's one interpretation. I think Koss was just really good at magic, and also completely nuts from rot. Koss tells Vance over a beer in Ackerton. Sounds about right, Vance says with a sigh, but you have to admit, it was still pretty impressive. Absolutely, Koss agrees. Your mother looks out the window at the stars. I always knew you would make good, Quux, she says softly. She begins to cry. A tragic end, your mother's heart.
Oh, I hate that.
Well, all right. I accept my fate and die exactly as I have foreseen.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much more we're gonna get out of this one.
Yeah, and well, let me ask this: like, what? How do we speed run it?
I am down to speedrun. I'm just saying.
Then again, if we speed run it right, we see a bunch of different things that I would have to read anyway. Maybe we'll come back to it.
Works for me.
Okay. Well,
there is an excellent Let's Play of this on the Something Awful forums, where at the very end, the goons make their last run a Santa run.
oh, yeah, yeah.
You can just be Santa Claus. I love it.
Yeah, that's the thing. So, like, especially since we've got a little bit of time, like, that's the thing that I think that this style of doing things, and I'm just gonna I guess click through. I don't really want to start from the beginning. Oh, view the credits. Oh, pops up in another window.
Oh, well.
Just opens a thing. Cool. Wait, we can change the animation between pages?
Yeah,
Oh.
it just, yeah.
We can either animate or not. Nah, forget that. I was just curious. So, like, let's look at our achievements, though. 20 out of 100 possible achievements, earning you a score of 100 out of a possible 500 points. So, like, that's interesting to me that, like, they still have this point system, even if it's made for multiple playthroughs and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I think that's smart just in general. I don't know. Actually, what do you think about, like, point systems in IF?
I don't get it. It's not for me, but I don't begrudge it.
Fair.
Having racking up points and achievements just seems orthogonal to the entire reason that we play these games. Like, if you want that, go get some Chivos in Call of Duty.
I mean, yes. I think there's value in being like, hey, you did a unique thing.
Yeah.
So long as it's unique and it's not like, oh, you got to the next chapter. Like, I mean, and, like, I don't know how I feel about, like, showing them all, but, like, getting, like, when pigs fly and being like, well, okay, that probably wasn't smart, but
but you did it.
But you did it, and, like, that was relatively unique. That was something that you could have done. Or, like, I don't know about... I just don't know how some of these feel to me. Oh, we could have hatched a baby dragon. We did hatch a baby dragon.
Yeah, there's something... Because we had the pre-existing dragon, that's probably why we didn't...
okay.
Yeah.
Or maybe we didn't. Anyway. Because we were, like, pretty convinced that they just got a baby dragon from the back. I mean, it's kind of interesting to, like, see all of the different things. Like, oh, okay, you can marry Koss, which would have been an extra 5 points.
Mm.
You can become the ruler of Arenia. Like, seeing that's interesting. I think it's good for, like, replayability, too.
Oh, yeah. There are lots of different routes we could have taken. You can become a dragon in one of them.
Oh, we could have gotten 5 points at the end. Could have disobeyed the voice. We could have dismissed the voice as impossible.
100 out of 500 is a nice round number.
Yeah. I'm not terribly worried about it, but it's definitely... We could have a child?
Yeah. We dumped Koss like a fucking callous asshole at the end.
right at the end.
God, we're jerks. Like, Quux is kind of an asshole.
I mean, it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. If you're not like, if you're not being kind of completely amoral, what fun are you having?
Don't be a murder hobo, Dougie.
That's not being amoral. That's being immoral. So I mean that's kind of interesting. It's just like, because I think about that in like Sierra games too, where like there's a lot of like when we finished Phantasmagoria, like there was points involved. And I don't know how I felt about like something that there was nothing there that was like, oh, you're getting points for doing this or not doing this or doing this out of order. Like I don't know how it feels to me anyway, like to get there. You know? Does that make sense?
I mean, kind of. Like, I think that ultimately the points are less about you got point and more about the author telling you, hey, there's all this other stuff that you can see. Why don't you give it another run?
Yeah, for sure. All right. So any last thoughts on choice of magics or other choice of games? Other than please play this. This ruled. That's why I wanted to do like a little bit of finish on it. Let's see what we can do without like completely restarting.
Yeah, we hadn't locked ourselves into this fairly bummer end without a ton of branching because, again, having looked at the back end of this thing, there is so much you can be doing. Down to like who accompanies you on the recon mission. Down to having a kid, down to, again, taking an entire separate chapter's worth of content on a trip to, what's the capital city of the ancient enemy. But that is another story, and will be told another time. I imagine this is probably not the last choice we're going to do. I have one in mind that is much shorter and much more linear, and also funny, and also spooky.
Cool. No, I love that. Yeah, I think doing the choice of, like, again, it's a very different feel. And it's something that I don't know. I don't know if we didn't do it this way, it would be, I would enjoy it as much. Like I definitely, and I've said this before, like I struggle with choice of and I struggle with Twine, like paying attention to what's actually going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's totally a me thing. That's not. But like reading it closely and reading it in a way that lets you enjoy the story as much as it is. So I really enjoy being forced to read every word.
Yeah, absolutely. There's certainly a choice kind of fatigue that sets in toward the end where you're just like, click, 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 click. All right, come on, next thing, click, 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 click. I think that this one is more notable than most just for the sheer, again, amount of branching that's in there. But I think there's also something to be said for the more linear guys. If only because, yeah, it's a different gameplay experience. But it's still, the core is narrative. There's more numbers than a traditional parser puzzler. But you're still playing what's fundamentally a narrative game. You're not resource managing. You're not stat juggling, typically. But anyway, yes, let's put a bow on this one, and